Luis Fernando Ribeiro is no stranger to criminal enterprises, but this plan, this heist, will go down in history as one of the most daring and calculated heists Brazil has ever witnessed. He's a mastermind, and his vision is crystal clear: to steal millions from the Banco Central in Fortaleza. The precision required is immense. This isn't a job for amateurs. It's going to take months of careful planning, strategizing, and secrecy. And Ribeiro knows exactly how to pull it off. He spends months surveying the Banco Central, learning its vulnerabilities, gathering intel, and recruiting a team that is capable of executing such an audacious crime. His crew isn't made up of just any criminals. They are specialists, experts in their fields. Among them is Antonio Jusivan Alves dos Reis, a man with a long history in crime. He's the trusted lieutenant, chosen for his skill and experience. Ribeiro knows that Jusivan is the kind of man who can lead the operation once the plan is set in motion. Ribeiro made a conscious decision to remain distant from the physical aspects of the heist. He operated from a distance, overseeing and directing his crew from behind the scenes. His role was strategic, gathering intelligence, coordinating logistics, and making high-level decisions. With the plan meticulously crafted and the team in place, all that remains is the execution. Every detail has been accounted for, and the team is ready to embark on what will become one of the most infamous bank robberies in Brazil's history. The Banco Central vault is one of the most secure in Brazil, but Ribeiro has a plan, one that doesn't involve brute force or violence. This heist will be conducted with stealth, precision, and, most importantly, time. He spent months studying the layout of the bank, its security measures, its weaknesses. The vault is virtually impenetrable by traditional methods, but Ribeiro doesn't rely on the traditional. He knows how to think outside the box. And so, the plan begins to take shape. Ribeiro's plan is to dig a tunnel right under the Banco Central, straight to the vault. It's an idea so crazy that no one would ever suspect it. The tunnel will be dug slowly and methodically. No explosions, no guns, just dirt, sweat, and a quiet, unstoppable determination. Carlos Eugenio dos Santos, a seasoned criminal with a talent for logistics, is brought into the fold. His role is crucial. He's responsible for organizing the crew, managing the supplies, and coordinating everything from the excavation to the disposal of dirt. He's already chosen the house where they'll begin the dig, a quiet, unassuming property far from suspicion. But it's not just about finding a place to dig. It's about creating the perfect cover. The gang will pose as a simple landscaping business. They'll move earth, lay down foundations for a seemingly mundane construction project. But beneath the surface, a different kind of work is underway. Carlos organizes everything, from the trucks that will haul away the dirt to the equipment that will be used for digging. It all needs to look legitimate, and it will. Every part of the plan is intricately woven together, like the threads of a spider's web. Marcelo Barbosa de Lima, a former engineer with experience in tunneling, is also a key player. He knows the technical details of tunnel construction better than anyone. His job is to ensure that the tunnel is not only effective, but safe. He oversees the construction, making sure the passage remains stable as they dig deeper and deeper toward their target. The crew consists of more than 30 men, each with a distinct role, each trained for the task at hand. The plan is simple, but requires complete precision. The tunnel will extend from the house to the vault. It's a plan that hinges on secrecy and coordination. As the days pass, the plan grows more detailed. The tunnel will need to be dug in shifts, with workers rotating in and out to avoid fatigue. The dirt will be removed and disposed, carefully spread out across the city, like a trail that leads nowhere. Everything needs to go smoothly, and no mistakes can be made. One slip-up, one wrong move, and the whole operation could implode. Carlos steps onto the property, his boots sinking slightly into the fresh dirt. He's been here for days, preparing, overseeing the setting up of the equipment, the supplies, and the men who will carry out the digging. He stands, observing the house, a simple, inconspicuous structure on a quiet street. To the world, it's just another house. To him and the crew, it's their base of operations, their entry point to the Banco Central. Carlos walks into the basement where the workers are gathered. He nods to them, signaling that it's time. They're a mixture of men, some seasoned criminals, others just ordinary laborers, but all of them have been carefully chosen for their ability to work under pressure. Carlos is in charge of ensuring everything runs smoothly. He knows that the slightest mistake, a hint of suspicion, could end it all. And so, the crew sets to work. With each shovel that digs into the earth, the tunnel takes shape. The men work tirelessly, shifting the soil, moving dirt in silence, their faces set in grim determination. The tunnel has to be dug deep and straight, avoiding any misstep that could compromise the operation. Marcelo, the tunnel engineer, oversees the construction, making sure the walls remain intact. The tunnel is to be dug in a way that avoids detection by the city's utility workers or anyone who might notice the disruption underground. Marcelo crouches down by the walls of the tunnel, running his hand over the exposed dirt. The ground is soft, but that's not the issue. It's the stability that matters. The tunnel needs to hold. One wrong move, and the earth could cave in, burying everything in a suffocating grave of dirt. Marcelo's expertise is what keeps the tunnel from collapsing, ensuring that the men can dig with speed but without risk. He works alongside the crew, showing them the right technique, keeping them focused. As the days pass, the operation becomes more intricate. The gang sets up a second crew to handle the dirt that's being dug up. The removed dirt is transported through a network of vans and trucks to locations across the city, where it will be hidden in construction sites or disposed of in ways that will keep the authorities from connecting the dots. After months of relentless digging, the tunnel finally approaches its mark. The Banco Central Vault, a fortress within a fortress, stands mere meters away. Beneath the surface, the crew prepares for the final and most critical phase of their plan. Everything hinges on what happens next. They've come too far to fail now. The gang gathers in the basement, the atmosphere electric with tension and anticipation. Carlos addresses the crew, his voice calm but commanding. He reminds them of the stakes. One misstep could undo all their efforts. The men nod, their expressions solemn. They've worked too hard, risked too much to falter now. Marcelo takes the lead as they prepare to break through the reinforced floor of the vault. Using specialized tools and equipment, the crew works meticulously, chipping away at the thick concrete barrier. The sound of drilling is muffled, but every vibration makes the men pause, their ears straining for any sign that they've been discovered. The concrete is thicker than anticipated. The gang's tools strain under the effort, but Marcelo's expertise keeps them on track. They work in shifts, breaking down the barrier layer by layer. Every crack in the concrete brings them closer to the treasure they've spent months chasing. Finally, the moment arrives. The last piece of concrete gives way, and the men peer into the vault. It's dark, quiet, eerily so. But there it is, shelf after shelf of stacked banknotes waiting to be taken. The crew exchanges looks of triumph, but Carlos quickly reminds them to stay focused. There's no time to celebrate. The hard part is over, but the real work is just beginning. The crew works like a well-oiled machine, each man knowing his role. Jusivan directs the operation from the tunnel's entrance, ensuring the stolen cash is transported smoothly. The gang moves the money with precision, bag after bag disappearing into the shadows of the tunnel. The haul is enormous, over 3 tons of cash. The gang has to be careful not to leave any trace behind. As dawn approaches, the crew finishes their work. The vault is empty, stripped of its treasure, but the gang leaves no sign of their intrusion. The tunnel entrance is carefully sealed, the tools removed, the house returned to its unassuming state. By the time the city wakes, the gang is gone, leaving behind one of the greatest mysteries in Brazilian criminal history. It's Monday, August 8th, 2005. The Banco Central employees begin their day as usual, unaware that the heart of their vault has been hollowed out. The first alarm comes from a routine check. A bank official opens the vault, expecting to see shelves brimming with cash. Instead, he's greeted by an eerie void. The shelves are bare. The air is still. For a moment, disbelief takes over. Could this be a mistake? He steps back, calling for others to confirm what his eyes refuse to believe. The realization spreads like wildfire. 160 million reais gone without a trace. As the shock subsides, the scope of the heist becomes evident. It's not just a robbery. It's a calculated assault on one of Brazil's most secure financial institutions. Investigators comb through every detail, searching for clues. It doesn't take long for them to notice the subtle cracks in the vault floor. Beneath it, they discover the tunnel, a meticulously constructed pathway leading to the house on Rua 25 de Março. The discovery of the tunnel sends shockwaves through the investigation. Its sheer scale and precision suggest a level of planning and expertise rarely seen in criminal operations. Forensics teams descend into the tunnel, their flashlights slicing through the darkness, revealing the remnants of the gang's work. As investigators trace the tunnel back to its origin, the house becomes the focal point. Inside, they find discarded tools and equipments. The landscaping business is a lie. Its only purpose is to mask the months of digging. Neighbors watch from their windows, their quiet street now a circus of flashing lights and reporters. Police widen their search, interrogating neighbors and analyzing security footage. Witnesses recall unusual deliveries, the coming and going of workers, but none suspected anything unusual. The gang's cover was airtight. Investigators are left piecing together fragments, trying to connect dots that seem deliberately scattered. With no immediate leads, the case becomes a national sensation. The audacity of the heist captures the public's imagination, overshadowing the authorities' frustration. News outlets dub it the heist of the century, and speculation runs wild. Who are these criminals? How did they pull it off? And where could they possibly hide with such a massive fortune? Forensic engineers and geologists are brought in to inspect the tunnel. Their findings are astounding. The tunnel is reinforced with wooden beams and plastic sheeting, preventing cave-ins. Its walls are smooth, indicating the use of professional-grade tools. The tunnel includes lighting, ventilation systems, and an ingenious mechanism to remove soil without leaving traces at the house. This was not a hasty operation. It was the work of skilled professionals, likely with experience in construction or mining. Investigators turn their attention to the property identified as the tunnel's starting point. Mattresses, food wrappers, and water bottles in the house suggest the gang had been living here for months. The team finds traces of equipment used for digging and soil removal, though much of it appears to have been removed before the heist. In a cluttered corner of the house, a soda bottle catches an investigator's eye. It's a small but significant oversight by the gang. Forensic experts carefully collect the bottle, and within days, fingerprints on it are matched to Antonio Chusivan Alves dos Reis. Documents found at the scene reveal receipts for tunneling equipment, rental trucks, and other materials. The scale of the purchases suggests a well-funded operation, likely requiring financial backers or proceeds from other crimes. Despite these discoveries, the gang's meticulous planning presents significant obstacles. Most gang members wore gloves, leaving no fingerprints except for Jusivan's soda bottle. Fake IDs and aliases make tracking key players difficult. By the time the crime is discovered, the gang has already had a 48-hour head start to scatter. Yet, the investigators are determined. Starting with Jusivan's identity, they begin piecing together the intricate puzzle of one of the most daring bank heists in history. After discovering Jusivan's fingerprints on the soda bottle, investigators launch a focused effort to locate him. Known to law enforcement for his role in prior organized crimes, Jusivan's known associates and frequent hangout spots are immediately placed under surveillance. Phone records are quietly subpoenaed to track any potential leads. Jusivan's movements, however, suggest caution. He has already gone underground, using cash for all transactions and avoiding digital communication. Investigators shift their focus to his network, following a trail of associates who lead them closer to Jusivan. Although Ribeiro meticulously planned the operation, his decision to control the bulk of the loot sparks resentment. Lower-tier members feel slighted, believing they deserved a larger share for their roles in the risky and grueling operation. The stolen money is divided and hidden in multiple locations. However, some members grow suspicious, believing their accomplices are secretly holding back larger shares. In a shocking twist, Ribeiro is taken by his former allies. They demand a greater share of the stolen money, believing he has stashed away a significant portion for himself. Ribeiro, who once commanded the group with precision and authority, is now at their mercy. The incident ends in tragedy. Ribeiro is found unalive in September 2006. His departure sends a clear message to the remaining members of the gang. No one is safe. It is believed that his former gang members feared he might cut a deal with the police to save himself, or had already divulged details about their identities. The mastermind of one of Brazil's most daring heists meets his end at the hands of those he once trusted. Following Ribeiro's departure, the gang's unity completely unravels. More members are found unalive in disputes over the division of the remaining money. For some, the pressure of evading capture leads them to desperate measures. The police capitalize on this chaos, capturing key figures who are now willing to cooperate in exchange for protection from their own accomplices. As the gang implodes, the police intensify their efforts, using the confessions and evidence obtained from Alemão and other arrested members to track down those still at large. By 2008, over 30 individuals connected to the Banco Central Heist were arrested. This included those directly involved in the tunneling operation, logistics, and financial handling of the stolen money. The arrests spanned across multiple states in Brazil, as the fugitives tried to evade capture by moving between safe houses and using fake identities. A few suspects managed to elude authorities entirely and remain at large to this day. Their identities have been flagged internationally, but their whereabouts remain unknown. Out of the 160 million Brazilian reais stolen, only about 20 million reais was ever recovered. The recovered funds were found in various locations, including hidden in homes and businesses owned by suspects, buried in backyards, and stored in safety deposit boxes and other secure locations. The majority of the money remains unrecovered, and it is suspected that much of it was spent, laundered, or hidden beyond the reach of investigators. Even today, the Banco Central Heist remains a mystery in many ways. Most of the stolen money is still missing, and some of the key players are believed to be living freely, possibly even outside Brazil. The investigation, though technically still open, feels like it's running out of leads, leaving a trail of unanswered questions behind. This heist wasn't just about the money. It was a daring, almost cinematic act that stunned the world. It forced banks across Brazil to rethink their security and gave rise to copycat crimes inspired by the gang's bold tactics. But for the people of Fortaleza, where it all unfolded, it's more than just a story of crime. It's a tale that left a permanent mark on their city's history, a mix of awe, fear, and frustration that lingers to this day. The Banco Central Heist isn't just Brazil's biggest robbery. It's a legend that refuses to fade away.